welcome to Spark Igniting Minds. Today we have with us a remarkable artist from the Mokshagundam family. He is none other than great-grandnephew of Sir M. Visvesvaraya. He has reproduced great masters' art from the Renaissance period, and let us deep delve into his visions and passion. Today, let's welcome Sheshadri Mokshagundam to the Spark family. Namaskar, Sheshadri Mokshagundam sir. Welcome to Spark Igniting Minds. I'm extremely happy today to welcome such a remarkable artist on board, and let us deep delve into your insights, your vision, and your experiences. And it will be a great lessons for the audience too, and an inspiration.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm also equally honored to be here and a part of Spark. I personally love that word spark. It infuses a lot of enthusiasm and enhances my energy today. Right. I really love that word spark, and it's a beautiful word for this program.
Thank you, sir. So let's start with your journey. You were a marketing professional, and from that profession, you have shifted to art. And how did art attract you? And what is your journey the transition between your marketing career to the art form?
That's an interesting question. When I look back, I graduated in 69. Just like any other boy just getting out of the college, he had to look for a job. So I got a job with the bank. And I wasn't very keen on a bank job. I wanted to go out of Bangalore and explore some other possibilities in my life. So I chose one particular job which was in Hyderabad. That's how I started my career. I joined that company for about just as to explore how well I could fit into it. I really wanted to try myself because my journey, when I look back, it was not very structured or planned. I have taken decisions on the spot, and fortunately for me, everything has worked out so well. So I joined that company, and it was more into marketing of products, and then that really attracted me. You won't believe, after that, I joined the evening college to educate myself on marketing skills. So I did my MBA in 2 years course, attending the evening college, and I just loved my profession because it involved a lot of interaction with different scientists and engineers and officers in various R&D sectors. That was my job, talking to them and connecting them with the manufacturers abroad in US and Europe, and that was an interesting exercise for me, and it was a very, very successful journey, I would say, because that took me to many places, met many very important people, both in India and abroad, and some of the prestigious projects I handled. That gave me a lot of confidence. It was more like a self-development program for myself. It really improved a lot of my other skills, communication skills and interactive skills with the people. And also, it was some kind of a national interest also I had to develop. Think institutionally, think nationally. Whatever I do, it should be of good use to my country, and it invoked some kind of a patriotic feelings in me. That really helped me to, develop myself as a person. And you said about the art, yes. Art has been with me ever since my childhood days. I used to love sketching and making drawings and coloring in my own way. I'm not formally trained. So that always used to attract me, and because two of my uncles were very good in the field. Though they were not commercially known, they were good in their artistic skills. That really inspired me. So as a student, I used to do a lot of sketching and coloring and things like that. And my school project works, always my work used to be, recognized in the class, and later in the college or my lab diagrams used to be recognized, and that gave me a lot of impetus for me to pursue further. So even when I was working, I used to, whenever I could get some spare time, I used to indulge myself in sketching. When I traveled also, I would make it a point to visit the local art gallery, whether it's in India or abroad, in Baroda, Calcutta, Delhi, Chennai. Whenever I visited them on official work, I would make some time for myself to visit their local art galleries, and just because that used to give me a lot of, it was like a multivitamin tablet for me in my growing up years. And then after that, when I traveled abroad, that gave me a lot of opportunities to visit some of the famous, renowned art galleries in the US and Europe. So these were always working as some kind of a force in me, and that was always with me to keep my artistic interests alive.
You have a great passion for art that I can see in your paintings also, very beautifully done.
Thank you.
What inspired you to this art form? And from childhood you have all started, you said. And how has it evolved over years?
Because as I told you, I wasn't formally trained, so I used to do it on my own. I would design my own greeting cards, and it was so well received. You won't believe. At one stage, my greeting cards were even exported to US. I used to paint on sandwood cards and silk cloth, and handmade cards used to be of great value those days. And I first export order I got was for 100 sandwood cards. That was a thrilling moment in my life. These were the factors that really encouraged me within me, gave me a lot of energy to pursue this further. And then after serving for about 45 years, I thought enough is enough. I just would like to take the subject which is close to my heart, that's art. So I wanted to take it seriously. So I could immediately think of Mr. B.K. Verma, whom I admired ever since my childhood days. I went to him to get some training. Unfortunately, B.K. Verma was very busy then because he had accepted some major commission projects. He was doing some big paintings for Rajnikant and for the Ganjams. So he was very busy. But he was so nice and so accommodating. He said, Sheshadri, I can train you. You can be just watching whenever I'm doing. I'll give explanations as I'm doing. You learn a lot. So that kind of, was unique kind of learning process for me. I was observing him keenly. Any color he would take, he would explain why he would take that color, and he would explain how he's doing it, and he would give me the significance of the stones, how to arrive at the shades. These were the lessons that really helped me. And admiring a great master like B.K. Verma made me feel that all great masters are real profound teachers for anybody who wants to pursue this art. So naturally, my attention was drawn towards the great masters. So I went into the study of the great masters. I would see their works, and even in my travels abroad, I would make it a point to see all those great masters. That really helped me a lot to pick up a lot of things. It's a lot of the nuances, the finesse of those great masters.
That's wonderful, sir. You have been guided by a great master like B.K. Verma.
Yes, I'm very fortunate.
Yes. And that must have changed your perspective also of your art, which you had pursued from your childhood. And how did his influence bring a change in your art forms?
See, he was my mentor, he was my guru, and I used to spend a lot of time with him. And whenever he gave programs, he used to give a lot of programs for his corporate sectors and his foreign delegates. I used to be a moderator for all his events. So every time he did something on the stage, that would really, even though I used to watch them so many times, but every time I would watch it as though I'm watching it for the first time. That was the kind of work that he used to do. And besides this, he would take me to some of these galleries and explain each and every painting and would give me some kind of a training as to how I should appreciate an art piece. So those are the special skills which when I look back, they are the most valuable lessons in my life, in my journey of art.
So you have been a skilled artist, I can say, a very renowned skilled artist influenced by the Renaissance art, and you have been reproducing the Renaissance art. So how do you incorporate those into your art form? And who are those great masters whose works you are reproducing?
They are really great masters, and to be very, very honest, if you feel that you are copying them, it's not the right word. There's so much to learn from those works, and it's like an ocean and a small pebble in that ocean. So when you observe them, there's so much of depth in it, and however effort you put in, you will never be able to give the perfect reproduction of those art.
I saw your art form, the Ravi Verma's, lot of Ravi Verma's style has been incorporated into your and it's so wonderful, sir.
Thank you. See, I followed many of the Indian artists like Ravi Verma, Sundar, and then J.P. Singhal. They were all the great, and even Haldankar. These were the ones who really influenced me a lot, and I would observe them keenly as instructed by Verma. I would see them in a different perspective. After moving with Verma, the way I look at art changed in thinking. That was the most important lesson of my life.
Especially the skin tone that you
bring.
It's so wonderful. It looks the art comes live.
The pearls or the jewelry.
Jewelry. Yes.
And the expression,
right.
the smile, the beautiful smile.
Yes.
All those
that has been captured.
Yes, that is where you have to really study a lot when you see great masters. Right. And besides these, the Renaissance time artists of the European era, that's another great.
Like
Leonardo da Vinci and Vermeer, Rembrandt, and Constable, and these were and then Chardin. I have done a lot of these reproduction of their work, and I should be very, very modest in saying that. I mean, they're really the great masters in the field. Reproducing their work itself is a very, very sacred task for me. I should be very humble to say that I had an opportunity to reproduce them. And that is where I have a lot of respect for those.
So how many hours you spend to do a painting?
See, for example, immediately the one painting which really comes to my mind right now is the Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci. That was a huge painting which was commissioned.
I've seen that painting, very nice.
It is 4 feet by 2.5 feet. Jesus in the center with 13 others on the table. And that was a very challenging work. I took almost 6 months to complete the job. It was commissioned by one Christian missionary in Hyderabad. I gave it to them. And that was very.
That was a remarkable painting
of
yours.
Become totally one with the painting.
Right.
And similarly, I did one still life of Chardin. The original is in Louvre Museum, France.
Right.
And one more is of a British artist called Reproduction. His work is in National Art Gallery in London. I did these paintings. I did do that without your knowledge. You just get absorbed into that. Okay? That becomes a part of your life. When you have to give it away to them, you feel that a part of it.
Part of your heart you are giving.
In earlier days, only the pictures I would take and keep it for myself.
But
now because of this technology, I keep a digital copy of that painting and keep it for myself because you don't feel like parting with the work that you do.
The amount of effort that you have.
Yes, you have spent unless you get totally
Maybe
involved and
months
observe.
together.
Unless you are totally involved, the best in you will not come out. So that total involvement is very difficult at the time of party.
That's a pain actually.
That's really. And the great masters have done is Leonardo da Vinci.
Da Vinci's also.
I have done, and then Ravi Verma's Hamsa Damayanti.
Hamsa
That was also about 4 feet high.
Damayanti.
That was another painting which I took almost 5 months.
Right.
So day in and day out, you will be doing only that. One particular day, you will be doing only the eye part. The next, the jewelry takes so long, and the sari, the pleats. You have so much of details to work on.
Yeah,
So those are the things which takes you totally into this thing. You become a part of that painting.
That art piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Even the color of this sari,
Yes,
the shade, all that
that's where I
beautifully drawn
feel
out.
great masters is a big challenge. Because if I have to do anything on my own, the end point you can always decide. This is what I can do. This is I'm happy with it. But if you are doing one constable work or a vermeer's work or any other reviewer's work, you cannot fix the end point. The end point is fixed by the great artist. Unless you come to the closest to that point, that is a challenge. Till then, you cannot relax. You have to do full justice to the original piece of art.
Yes.
Yeah, that is where it's a challenge. So many people look down upon reproduction work. But I feel if you really have to do something on your own, you have to do the reproduction. Then only you will be honing your skills. You learn how to do it. Because if you do anything on your own, fixing your own tone, you can always, compromise.
Yeah.
But if you have to do the skin tone of Ravi Verma or Da Vinci's Last Supper, each face has got a different expression. All that you have to carefully study the anatomy, the composition, all those things are so important. So I always have a lot of respect for the great
master. When we do our own, we limit ourselves.
Yeah, we limit ourselves.
We don't have that perspective of what great masters have done.
Yes.
So when you emulate that,
yes.
the
end point is very, very strong.
Yes.
The reference is very strong. Until you reach that point, you should never even say that you're an artist, I think. That is it. And also, when you especially talk about the contemporary art and all that, these are they have to really study the great masters before they call themselves artists.
Right.
I'm seriously thinking of putting up a show. I would like to call it as Namana to the great masters. Okay? All the great masters' work which I have done, that I would like to display very soon. That's in my bucket list. Maybe by the end of the year, I should be realizing my dream.
That's superb, sir. You have to bring the great masters back to life, and people should appreciate. Yes. And about all your commission works, which is the most close to your heart, and which is the most remarkable or
commission jobs? Last Supper is one of the major works that I've done. Other than that, Girl with a Miss One Pearl Ring by Vermeer is another great work which I cherish doing it. And the other one was Chardin's Still Life and Ravi Verma's Damayanti and Hamsa. That's another favorite work. And many Constable have done, Gainsborough have done. I have done many, and fortunately they are all with real connoisseurs of art lovers who have given a lot of respect to those works, and that is the most satisfying part in my life as an artist.
So what has been the most memorable international art festival that you have attended, and why is it renowned?
See, as I told you, I was really blessed to be with a renowned artist like B.K. Verma. That gave me a lot of opportunities to attend some of the art festivals. Within India, I attended about 3 or 4 with him. But the outside India, our first trip outside India was to Kuwait with Varma.
No.
Okay, there I attended one art program.
He is also a Renaissance reproducing artist.
Oh no, he is
V.K.
an
Varma.
original artist. He is an original. His works are so original. So that really inspired me because I can never do my own creative work which I can sign at the bottom saying Shesh and it's my work because I'm so influenced by Varma and other great artists. If I do any work without my knowledge, I would have copied some great masters. I can never call myself an original artist. That is how I've been with these.
That's a greatness of yours.
So when I went with Varma to Kuwait, that was a very interesting experience. There was one Kuwaiti Society of Performance Arts. They invited us for a workshop and then there was a presentation. That was during the Ramadan time. So the whole thing was in the middle of the night. It started at 10:30 in the night. It went on till 1 o'clock. The entire program was telecast all over the Gulf. And that particular program caught the attention of one of the royal members of the Bahrain royal family. He fell in love with the Indian art and the way Varma was doing, and I was explaining it in English, and that would get automatically translated to a local language. The next morning, we get a call from the gentleman from Bahrain, the prince. He invited us, he arranged visa from Kuwait, we went to Bahrain.
Wow.
Okay. There he made us attend one small art workshop. There again, Varma did one painting, I did one painting. And that was an experience. But after this, there was no looking back. We made a lot of money in that particular one. That money we used it to go to London. Okay, we went to London and then we went to the art society. I literally gate crashed with Varma because they conduct an international art show called Art in Action. Every year, first Wednesday of August every year. It's a 5-day festival. They pick and choose artists from all over the world, different forms of art, embroidery, tapestry, sculpture, miniature art, brush art, vegetable carving, all kinds of art. The artists are picked and chosen, and they will be working on the spot, and visitors will get a chance to interact with them. So I wanted Varma to attend this. So I took him. I gate crashed into the Art in Action office. They just, I just gave a small demonstration with Varma. They fell in love. They said, "You are coming next year for the festival." They sent us a ticket. So next year we were there. That was a very interesting experience, meeting so many artists from all over the world. And our gallery, Indian gallery, became very, very popular. There used to be a big queue in front of our thing to watch Varma doing it, and I was talking, and I used to give talks every afternoon for the art lovers. This was the most interesting experience. And another most interesting aspect of this particular art festival is the founder of this Art in Action in London. This is very close to Oxford, okay? It's about a sprawling 200 acres area called Waterbury, okay? And the founder was very, very spiritual person. He was highly influenced by Indian spiritual values. He used to come every year to India, and then he would go back and talk about India. So he formed a small group, and that's how this Art in Action was founded. And their main office has got a big sculpture of dancing Ganesha, Shankaracharya, Shiva, Parvati. I found it very, very homely when I entered that Indian art form has got so much of respect outside India. That made me feel very elated. And they looked after us so well, and with the Sattvic food, they called it. And that was the one which made us very close. We attended the Art in Action 2 times, and that was a memorable experience for me.
That's how you connected to organizers of
yes.
global
I would
artists.
really say that I'm really blessed.
Yeah.
Really blessed. I couldn't have asked for anything more.
Yes, art transcends boundaries, they say.
Yes.
So, what motivates you to train students in the painting and sketching?
See, that's again by accident or default I became an art teacher. I really wanted to uh, just relax and do painting, listening to music. But I was destined to become an art teacher. Okay, in one of the school competitions very close to my house, the principal of that school was very well known to me. She was my classmate in the college. She invited me to be a judge for the inter-school drawing competition for the children. I went there as a judge, and then and I was asked to go speak a few words to the parents and the aspiring students. In that, there were two girls, won the first and the second prize, but they had not gone through any formal training, just like me. It was just their interest. And then they had got the prize, and the parents came and requested me, can you train them? With a lot of reluctance, I said yes, and I used to take classes only on Sunday mornings for about 1.5 hours. Because I have not gone through any formal training, so I had to devise a method where I should have some kind of a syllabus for the beginners. That's how it started. The 2 kids became 5 kids, 5 kids became 7 kids. By word of mouth, it spread. My classroom started growing. I was just doing it in my family room. I had to alter my house. I converted my garage and the front space, did a shelter, and then had a nice classrooms to accommodate about 25, 30 students at a time. You wouldn't believe, before COVID, I used to have about 168 students every week in 2 batches. So 3 batches every day. In each batch, I would have 15 students. And my students' age was from 5 years up to 82 years. 82-year-old lady came. Yes, that was very, very interesting for me, because art, I feel, is some kind of a meditation. For the little kids, it's more out of parental pressure or their own interest they come. Not all of them will pursue it seriously.
They may not have the passion.
But some of them, they really pursue it with a lot of interest. But some of these elders, I told you, they were the doctors by profession, IT guys, and some teachers, and this 78-year-old ophthalmologist who worked in the UK for about 37 years. She wanted to learn painting. Another elderly lady, 80 years, who was in Chennai, she relocated in Bangalore. She came to me. Teaching them was a great experience for me. So I had to, come at a method where I have some syllabus to cater to the different levels of learning.
What syllabus?
So I made my own syllabus, which is useful for them, because I take kids from 5 years onwards. And right from drawing lines and sketching to pencil shading, color pencil rendering, finally to art in oil paint. This is, especially in today's stressful world, the doctors and the engineers, they really take a lot of peace and relief in spending time with art. As I told you, it's a meditation.
In this stressful society,
yes, you
getting
really
into that art form and involving yourselves in becoming one with that is such a great stress buster, I can say.
Yeah, when I see those aspiring students,
it's more than meditation.
I see myself in them, because I was in that stage when I was young.
Yes.
So I see myself in that. That's how I teach them. And one more important thing, mine is not a commercially based education system for training. I just it's an affordable thing, because in today's world, not everyone can afford art class. It's very expensive. So I made it. Whatever they can, they should.
Very reasonably.
Yes, and don't want to make it a commercial venture. Okay, and you would really be training some of these auto rickshaw driver kids, taxi driver kids, and some maid servants kids. It is so satisfying to teach them, and some of them have reached oil painting levels, which when I look at, it's looking back, I feel that I couldn't have got better satisfaction in my life as an art teacher.
That's
For all,
great.
I'm not a trained artist,
Yeah.
but I learned along with them.
Yes.
Teaching those kids, I
Yes.
learned. That
Yes.
was a development program for myself. This is where I'm so grateful to this. I feel always blessed.
Oh. Whether they belong to any walks of life, whether a maid servant or whether a doctor's kid, the children
See,
are
for
the
them,
same.
just going to the
Children
school
are-
itself is a big.
Yeah.
Especially for me,
Yeah.
making both ends meet is such a thing.
Yeah.
For them to send them to music class and art class and it's not,
And
not
teaching them at an affordable price is
I teach them free.
Yeah, are free also. That is
And-
something
And
really.
one more satisfaction is that teaching the specially able children. So they are autism and slow learners. But they have some special knack of picking up art. I have about 5 or 6 students who are slow learners and autism, but they can do so well when it comes to art. Teaching them makes it so satisfying for me.
So apart from the art or sketching, painting, one more art form you have kept close to your heart, that is vintage melodies. And how do you feel they resonate with you and with also the contemporary audience?
Okay, that's it again. Music has been in me thanks to my parents. Because
Learn music.
I haven't learned music because in the family there was always music. My father was very deep into classical form of music. My mother was into classical, semi-classical, bhajans and even film songs. And my sister is really trained into music, classical form of art. So music was always there in my growing up years. It had a deep impact on my growing phase of life. It was my mother who introduced me to live music. Because she was a great fan of Pankaj Malik, Saigar, and Hemant Kumar, and Bengali musicians. So as a 5-year-old, I used to listen to all of them. And I developed some kind of a fascination, passion for music. And also, see, I was born in 1949. That's the year in Lata Mangeshkar, Muhammad Rafi, and so they all came into the foray. Okay. They became very popular in that year. So I always tell people I have got some cosmic connection because when I was born, Lataji became very popular with her Meher song and Rafi song recorded. This song, they all became nationally recognized, and their voice became a household voice and all that. So somehow I started listening to their songs in my mind. It was having some kind of soothing experience for me. And that was an analog era. Okay. Today you can get any song by the click of a button, you can listen to any music. But when I was growing up,
Lata and Rafi were the legends,
the
timeless legends.
The radio was the only source of music for us.
Where you
And something I never expected this kind of a revolution in the computers. I always thought all these things would be lost when I grow up. So I just kept on recording all the trivia, little details about it, what song, which song, movie, who is the lyricist, who is the composer, and I would keep a record of all those things I had. And I would listen to them and take a quick note of all the songs. That's how I started my interest. And I started collecting rare pictures, reviews, and today it's become a huge collection, of the golden era of Indian music and all the legends. So that was another art form which became a part of my life. And I'm very happy to say that when Lataji was celebrated some 5-6 years ago in Bangalore, I had so much of information on her in the form of rare photographs, reviews, her articles on her, and magazine clippings. I digitized all of them and gave a very good exhibition in Chowdhury with all those rare photographs and everything. And like this, I have collection on all the legends. Okay, Bimal Rai, Sheshadri, Gulzar, Shantaram, and Shailendra, Husband and yes, people. I started collecting them. All the legends. Yes, they became my, some kind of gurus for music.
You were drawn to it.
Yes,
Them actually.
And
So
I'm so glad I'm a part of this golden era. I grew up in that era.
yeah, so most of them who grew
And
into
I
that
had
era,
the fortune of meeting Lataji live when she came to Bangalore. And I attended all the concerts like Kumar, Mahadi, and Mukesh, Kishore, Ashaji in Bangalore.
in Bangalore.
So that was my passion. It was some kind of a.
So fortunate.
Yes, looking back, I feel
Yeah.
I'm really very lucky.
Yes.
My only regret is I couldn't meet Rafi Saab, I couldn't attend any of his live concert. That was my only regret.
Okay. So you wear multiple hats effortlessly. I can say you're also a TV anchor, TV presenter, or you have anchored TV programs. How did it shape your career as a TV artist?
Again, I used to make moderate many of these vintage jewelry programs. Okay, I was closely associated with our organization where I used to, regularly anchor the programs of Chandrika Gurrajan, Reproduction, Indira Shankar, and many others. So for that program, I used to do the playlist. Okay, I would pick up different composers and different lyricists from different movies, and I would talk about it and then present the program. So this became another added dimension into my music loving field, and then I got to be known as an encyclopedia of Hindi film music. Okay?
Oh, you're called encyclopedia of Hindi. That's right.
One of the TV channels, when they started a program, they immediately came to me. I started doing for the program. Many legends, I used to write the script for them and they would present the program. So the director of that particular TV channel, he was so impressed. He said, "Who is the gentleman who is doing all these films?" And my name was, mentioned. Why don't you ask him to be a presenter for a program? That's how I entered the TV anchor. So I became a presenter. And when I look back, I feel so happy that I did programs and Nishanta, Rishikesh Mukherjee, Bimal Rai, and then about Mughal and how the film was made, and about Raj Kapoor, and the music of Raj Kapoor. And these were the things that really, when I look back, I really cherish those beautiful memories in my music field.
Oh, that is wonderful. You have been, anchoring all musical events of great legends and also the musical movies also. That is a feather in your cap, sir, I can say. So, in your artistic journey, and also about the thematic music that you are going to making a playlist of it. So, can you say something about that?
See, thematic, I think is a little challenging one because you have audience is a god. We have to without a good audience, no program will be successful. The moderators responsibility is connecting the audience to the performer.
Right.
That rapport should be built up by the moderator. It's a very, very challenging. And today's audience, they are so varied. With the contemporary music, the tastes are different. The melody is being replaced by rhythm and the sounds. We don't have those beautiful tones of
no lyrics and no compositions.
Tunes of the 60s and 60s, not many people would appreciate. So, preparing a theme is not an easy job today. So, thematic questions, you have to be very careful depending on the kind of audience that you get, the age of the audience is very important. important. And at the same time, it's your responsibility to make sure that the present generation appreciates the good music.
Yes.
And they should be able to enjoy that. You should introduce them to those legendary composers and the lyricists. And what was the value system in those days of golden era? Why is it called golden era? Why is that music still prevalent
It lingers
today?
on even today.
Even today.
Even
as
now,
reality shows and
yes.
it's not saying only the old
Yes.
songs. Why is it not aged? Why is it still relevant today? So
Correct.
this is the responsibility of us to introduce that good music. You know, if you have got to have good 10 to 12 songs, you have to have 2 or 3 old melodies, introduce the audience to that. And why do you do that? You keep those interesting trivia and anecdotes, connect them with that. They will start appreciating the music. They will start appreciating the singers, the lyricists, the composers, and you should keep it alive. As a person who
So you compose music also for the lyrics? No.
No, I don't.
No, you don't.
No. Oh my God, it's complicated into that. I really enjoy, appreciate good music.
Okay. So my last question to you, sir. Before that, what advice would you like to give to the students of this era who is greatly attracted towards rhythm and loud music when compared to our old classical where melodies was given a lot of importance. Yes.
See, this is again a very difficult question to answer.
Right.
Today's generation is very much exposed to technology, and computer is such a great revolution for them. It has got a lot of advantages. Okay, today's generation are at a very advantageous situation. They should have developed a very good discussion process. They should go with their hands. I'm not saying that everything about the present generation is bad. No, they should be connected to the present, but they should always respect
and appreciate the past lyrics.
And evolution you should be able to appreciate. Then only you will be relevant in today's world. You cannot appreciate
that mix
today's
of both today's and the old is something very
that should be developed,
yes.
and that discretionary power should be nurtured,
Right.
even in the form of art, I think. In the contemporary art style, especially these AI, things have changed a lot. The scene is so different today. But they should always retain that respect for the old generation work and their great masters. And have your feelings of gratitude. And they were the pillars, whether it's music or art form. They were the ones who were the great foundation for whatever you are enjoying today. So don't ever forget them. Keep your regards and reverence to them, and you will learn a lot. You will be able to bridge the old and the new, and you will be so relevant to the present day changes.
Yes.
This is what my
That's a wonderful message, like building a bridge between the melodies and this the new form of music. That is one great thing. And sir, you belong to a very, very prestigious and a very intellectual family, I can say. Sir M. Visvesvaraya. You are the great-grandnephew of Sir M. Visvesvaraya, and we are so fortunate to have you here today with us. And Visvesvaraya has been talk of the town. Everybody knows who he is and what he has contributed, and the disciplined way that he led his life is very remarkable, I can say. And you have been giving talks everywhere about Sir M. Visvesvaraya. So can you say about and you have been a close associate. How do you even tell us more about him?
So, talking about the iconic and with the great heritage value like Sir M. Visvesvaraya is a very, very sacred task for me. Okay? At the same time, it's a huge responsibility on my tiny shoulders. he is a legend himself. I would like to tell you one thing. As you are aware, Sir M Visvesvaraya lived for 102 years. Every single minute of his life, he always thought of the welfare of the people and progress of the nation. And he worked only in that direction.
Absolutely.
So, Sir M Visvesvaraya doesn't belong only to the Mokshagundam family. Doesn't belong only to the Mysore state where he served most. He belongs to the entire nation.
Yes.
And every single individual Indian
Yes.
is his grandchild, I would say. He belongs to everyone.
Yes.
Okay? And talking about him,
Yes.
see, it's, as I told you, it's a very, very sacred task for me because his life itself is like a textbook for generations. The value of life, if you study his life through his works, through his contemporaries who have shared their experiences of working with a legend like Sir M, is a lesson for everyone, especially today's generation, younger generation. I would like them to listen to him, read the books, and emulate 1% of
At
his
least
life.
part of
It's a big thing.
Yes.
Because, see, Sir M Visvesvaraya, by educational qualification, he was an engineer.
Engineer.
He became a PWD engineer.
Hmm.
He was deeply interested in economics and statistics, which he extensively used throughout his career. Okay? And by his contributions to the country, he became a statesman. And by the royal orders of the Mysore Maharaja, he became a Diwan of Mysore state. And by his contribution, he became a Bharat Ratna. A man coming from a very, very traditional Orthodox family from a small place called Brilliance, where there are only 50 families. Coming from
It is at the foothills of Nandi.
Nandi Hills.
Yeah.
Very, very ordinary, traditional Brahmin family.
Yes.
The father was very rich in his traditional values. He had deep knowledge of holy scriptures and Vedic and traditional medicines of the herbal kind. And mother was just a homemaker.
Correct.
Coming from this background, born in a place like Udaipur, rising to this level, you can imagine what kind of inner strength he had. The only asset he had was his self-confidence and hard-working nature. Okay, that's the one which led him to where he went. Okay.
Even at 102 years, he used
He was
to
so
climb
alert.
Nandi, I think.
He was so alert.
He was alert.
At the age of 90 to 90, he took up Ganga River project work.
Oh,
Okay, at the age of 92.
Yeah.
And have you ever seen him using specs in any of the photos? His eyesight was perfect till he was 96.
Right.
Okay, and he was so disciplined. He was known for his punctuality, integrity, and the value system that he practiced. Whatever he preached, he practiced, and whatever he practiced, he preached. There was no room for words like retirement, laziness, or relaxation in his vocabulary, in his dictionary. That was the kind of person he was. So talking about him is such a, I can talk for about 3 hours. There's so much he has done.
So much
It's
to
not
say.
though he was just
The
a
great
civil
Vrindavan
engineer.
Gardens, the
Yes.
KRS Dam is one now.
He was just a civil
Salute
engineer.
to him.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he was the one who started the cement industry, iron industry, steel industry, paper, sugar.
Also electricity.
Yeah, electricity
Not
generation,
just to
irrigation,
Yeah.
and the bridges, and the railways, and
Right.
communication.
No,
You name it, he
name
has done
it,
it.
he has done.
Horticulture, silviculture,
Yes.
floriculture. He has played an important role in the development of this nation. It's not for nothing that he got the Bharat Ratna Award. And during the British era, when British were ruling, he was there looking after the national interest, and he got his knighthood by the British government.
Oh.
And he devised some automatic sluice guides which were, very extensively used in many of the irrigational projects within India and outside. He could have easily made a lot of money by taking the patent. He refused to do that. He said it's a government job. He nominal 100 rupees stamp paper, he signed the patent document. He was so selfless. He was always for the country. He never made any site for himself, no house for himself. Whatever he got, he gave back to the society for all the development programs.
Audience, I salute Bharat Ratna Sir M.
It is my great honor, or I can't thank God enough that I have Mokshagundam tag in front of my name. But at the same time, I should be very humble, simple, because he never worked for any kind of honors or awards or remuneration.
Recognitions.
Recognitions.
Yeah.
The recognitions and honors came to
him.
Search of
Yeah,
him. 7, 8 doctorates came to him.
Right.
Knighthood, Bharat Ratna, and many others. But he was unperturbed. Success never went to his head. So that we should remember today as a family member.
So much to follow from.
Yes, so
much to take.
Even if it's just 1% of
lives.
his life, if I
Yes.
just say that I'll be a great man today, which I cannot do because he was such a great person.
Right.
I'm sure the next generation would believe that a man like him existed in flesh and blood. Right?
So it's in your blood, his blood. I mean, so it was so nice talking to you, interacting with you, and knowing more about the art forms, and you being multi-talented, and you were also a TV anchor, then a moderator, also you are developing some dramatic music, and your art forms are so remarkable. Thanks, and it was so.
I should be grateful to you. I am also grateful to you for the spark and giving me this opportunity, inviting me and to share my few experiences with you. I really wish you all the success with your program, and I'm sure this will go a long way in honing the skills of so many of your listeners. And even as I told you, even if they take 1 or 2% of what they listen to the great people, I'm sure it will help them. And there are many such great people in our country.
Many are
Yes, I
there.
would,
Those inspiration they should take.
Take
That's
the
why we are
inspiration and
doing
motivation
this part
from,
interviews.
from your program and get benefit out of it.
Thank you so much, sir,
Thank
for
you very
educating
much.
our audience.
Thank you very much.